this is my current setup. I mean, this is my normal setup, but also the lighting might look different, like the natural light's coming in, but I also decided to turn on the lamp, and it makes it look like the sun is actually...
Don't care.
We're here to talk about the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs, as you should know, are a tanking team, and they tanked last year, and it paid off because they were able to draft Victor Wembanyama in the 2023 NBA draft. And he is pretty much the most hyped up prospect since LeBron. So having a guy like him on your team is definitely a W, 100%. And when you look at the rest of this team, you got... when I was doing because this is a team preview, one of the 30 team previews that I'm going to release in the next month or so. And when I did this, I typed a depth chart for each team, some notes, extra notes that I was like important things to mention about the team. And when I look at the depth chart here, they're not good. They're not good. I mean, they have I think that's Trey Jones, they have Devin Vassell, they have Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan, and Victor Wembanyama. That's probably going to be their starting lineup, which is a great young starting lineup. But if you look at the Western Conference right now and the competition that they're dealing with, it's not looking good for them. I projected them because last year they were 22-60 and they were the 15th seed in the West. And if you think I'm going to have them better because they have Victor Wembanyama, you're completely wrong. I have them 15th in the West yet again with a record of 19-63. Victor Wembanyama is a great player, 100%. Well, actually we don't know that yet, but he looks like he's going to be amazing. He looks like he's going to be something we've never seen before, and if he lives up to the hype, the league is in trouble. But it's first year Victor Wembanyama. And as great as he may be, they're not doing anything compared to the other teams in the West. One of the things I put here is that they're extremely young, and they have tons of young guys. They have Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, who's still decently young, but not really young, but Jeremy Sochan, Victor Wembanyama, Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley. Who else is here? Those are many young guys, but you get the point. They're a very, very young team, and I like their young core, to be honest, because Devin Vassell is actually a guy. I did do some research on Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson in the offseason, because let's be honest here, not many of us watched the Spurs this season, or last season I should say. So I decided to look into those two players specifically to see what exactly they brought to the table for this Spurs team, and because I know Keldon Johnson was cooking, but I just didn't know what exactly he was doing. And when I looked at the plays that I was seeing from Vassell and Keldon specifically, I was actually seeing some pretty good stuff. I can't remember everything specifically that I saw because I looked at those clips like a month ago, but they were doing pretty well. Vassell's a great defender, and so is Keldon. And Keldon is actually a really impressive finisher. That's one thing I do remember. He's a pretty impressive finisher, a great catch and shooter, and he's just overall a great scorer. And then you also have Devin Vassell beside him, who can score the ball as well, and also is a great defender. And then you have Victor Wembanyama, who's probably going to be... Because one thing I am thinking about this team is... Because when you have a team, everybody plays their role. You have the guy who handles the ball the most, usually the point guard. The shooting guard, who's usually a shooter and can play defense on occasion. A small forward who does pretty much a little bit of everything. A power forward who adds an extra element to the team. The power forward is low-key dying down, or it was dying down a few years ago, and it is coming back up now with guys like Giannis and AD and Zion and stuff. But the power forward is supposed to bring something extra to the team, whether it be defense or rebounding or scoring. And then the center is who holds it down low, getting the rebounds, holding down the post defense, and scoring in the post. And when I look at the roles on this team, they don't exactly fit all of them. I mean, they have Trey Jones, who's a good playmaker and a good scorer, so he's going to be like the commander of the offense. At least that's what I'm guessing. They have Keldon Johnson, who's an amazing scorer, and he can also do a little bit of everything, like a small forward should do. They have Devin Vassell, who can score a bit, play a bit of defense, you know what I'm saying? So they have him, who's good. And then they have Victor Wembanyama and Jeremy Sochan. Or Sochan. I don't know how to say his name. I'm going to just say Jeremy. Vic is a very interesting player because he's not your traditional center. He has a skinnier frame. He's still like 7'4", so he's extremely tall. He has the size to block shots and stuff. But I don't know how well he could be as the focus of really the heart of your post defense. Like, the core of your post defense, I should say. I don't know how good he'll be with doing that. Because although he can get blocks, I mentioned this in my mock draft, when you're going against guys like Joel Embiid and Jokic, getting blocks, having that length won't be enough. You might need extra help with, you might need that extra size, that extra strength to bang with bigs down low. And I don't know if Vic has that yet. So that's one thing I'm worried about with the construction of this team. And I mean, you have a guy off the bench who can do that in Zach Collins, and he proved to be a pretty good player for them last year. But I don't know if they'll run a lineup with Vic and Zach Collins. I was watching a Through the Wire podcast, and they talked about this, how Victor Wembanyama and Zach Collins, they're deciding what would the starting lineup be, because if you start Vic and Zach, then Jeremy Sochan comes off the bench. And if Jeremy's coming off the bench, I don't know if you really want to do that. But if you can't start all three bigs, because even if you did do that, then Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, is one of them getting benched? So, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of rough in that circumstance, but it's just, I'm wondering what Vic's role is going to be on this team. He's obviously going to be getting the ball a lot on these possessions. And when you have guys like Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell who can work off the ball, Vic is actually a pretty good option here. But I don't know how it'll go, because I don't know if Victor Wembanyama really should be handling the ball most of the time, especially when it's his rookie year. And I mean, I don't think he's going to be having the ball in his hands 90% of the time, but I still think a good amount of the plays are going to be ran for him to get him the ball and to get him to score. So at the end of the day, this is an interesting team. I mean, they're still young. They'll figure it out eventually. I think Vic does actually fit pretty well with this team, and they're going to be good, just not right now. It's still a really young team. Their bench depth is not great. I like their young core, but the power forward, their backup power forward is Reggie Bullock. It's not looking great right now. So it's not a horrible team, but they won't be good purely because of the competition in the West. If they were a team in the East, I legit might have this team as a playing team. But in the West, it is competitive right now, man. So I don't know, man. We'll see what. Of course, I expect Victor Wembanyama to have an amazing year. Hopefully, barring any injuries, he'll be great. As far as from what I've seen, I think he's gonna be amazing. But overall, as a team, they're probably not gonna be that good. And that's all I have to really say for the Spurs. Greg Popovich is gonna have fun coaching Victor Wembanyama, though. So when you have Greg Popovich, you're for sure going to get some wins. So that's why I had 19. When you look at all these teams, this is probably one of the, like a bottom 3, bottom 2 team in the entire league. But when you look at all the other teams, and like when you look at the team, when you look at this team specifically, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and Vic, those 3 specifically are probably going to get you a decent amount of wins. Not a lot, but like 19... that's realistic. I see them getting a solid 19 wins. They're not going to be good, but they can definitely get 19 wins. The only question I had about my prediction was last year they did get 22 wins and they didn't have Victor Wembanyama. But I think the reason I have them getting less is because of the competition in the West. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in my upcoming videos. I'll be releasing a season preview for every team in the West and in the East. And in the next, I would say 30 days, but I'm not going to upload on any Saturdays. So in the next, about a little over a month, hopefully right in time for the season, I'll have all my season previews out, and I will also do an award prediction video. So yeah, be ready for all those to come out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment down below any tips, tricks, or topics you have me to talk about on this channel, and turn on notifications so you get notified about any new videos that I upload. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.